old reload is pretty much the oldest pass there is still. I didn't remove it yet. There is in GCC. And of course it was, because it's necessary for the compiler to do anything useful. You have register allocation, which changes, assigns hard registers to all pseudos. So everything has a hard register, actual machine register, but not everything, only most things, because register allocator cannot always assign a hard register to every pseudo. If you have too many pseudos at the same time, it doesn't work. And reload solves that. It stores, what it does in principle is it stores some hard registers to memory, and then it loads them back into hard registers where they are needed, where there were pseudos. It makes things work, not efficiently or anything, but it makes things work, and that's what reload does. And in principle. But since it's the last point in the whole pass pipeline where we have pseudos, and it actually makes them all hard registers, all kinds of special purpose optimization things are put in there. And over the years, there's so many different things put all into old reload that it's completely top heavy. The whole pass is way too big. It does a million of things, and they all contradict each other. And the whole way old reload works is it's not actually making any changes to the RTL. It has separate to the side data structures where it records what it wants to do, right? And then at the end, it actually changes everything all at once. So it's, I thought you had your hand up, sorry. So at the end, it finally does its thing. And LRA does not do anything like that. LRA makes a change when it thinks about it. When it thinks it needs to change something to some hard register, whatever, it does that immediately. Immediately everything takes effect. So that makes LRA much easier to work with. It's you immediately see the changes it wants to make, and it does make them to the RTL stream. Just get instance, right? LRA is so much nicer to work with, and that's why I started work on this. Okay, we got this LRA thing, and the first architecture that got it was x86. Most of it was written for x86, pretty much, and the second architecture that got it was R6000, PowerPC. So I cut most of the problems, yeah. But then
You worked on it alone?
No, not at all, not at all. No. You and I think mostly Steve got the brunt of the pain. Monroe, I think.
No, not Steve. Steve does not work on GCC.
Oh, I don't know
He
who.
was the architect of our tool.
Right. I don't know who cut most of the pain, but it was other people. You did?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it was other people who got most of the pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we made PowerPC work with LRA, at first things looked really promising, but then we hit some real snags, and there was some months of work for Vladimir actually to get it to work. Yeah.
Missing features. Yeah.
Right, missing features. Yeah. things that are different on R6000 backend or
Or
on
just
the
risk architectures.
yeah, or on the actual machine architecture, things that are different. So it just needed extra work done. Yeah, it's not even a missing feature. It's just not there.
Well, no, there were some missing features. He did.
Yeah,
reload
you could call it a missing
some
feature.
things that
Yeah.
had been done in reload because you said
Yeah.
lots of stuff, but there were some important items from there that
Right,
now
right.
that he basically
Right. So after us, so you have two very separate, very different architectures that both support LRA. It now should be easy to convert anything to LRA after that. Well, I know after that some really serious things were done to LRA still to make it work for some other architectures. But nowadays, like 20 ports use LRA, something like that. So it really should be easy now. Well, I know it is easy. Well, because of this getting rid of old reload, some summer of code or whatever students or younger people anyway got involved on IRC on pushing architectures to switch to LRA, and I'm so happy with that. Yay! I don't have to do organizational stuff myself. I'm so happy with that. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. Yeah, but some embedded or embedded-like architectures were converted in like half an hour. So, I wrote a patch earlier, well, last year, I guess, which switches the default for LRA to true instead of from false. Yeah, it's over a year ago, yeah. Earlier this year, I tried to push a patch in that touches like 40 architectures, whatever, switch all of them to LRA, because all of them, the default, the patch you made over a year ago, the default was LRA true, but lots of architectures actually have manually overwritten to false, right? So I switched everything back to true. That patch never went in, like you're doing aggressive anti-social things to 30 or whatever architectures. That patch didn't go in, yeah. But at least it got the ID through, right? Yeah. And lots of embedded-like thingies actually were changed this year without any problem. They just tried LRA and it just worked. So yeah, I'm not sure all of them. One of the advantages of LRA is it often generates better code, actually, better machine code in the end. But sometimes it generates worse code. So yeah, but it's only maybe 2% slower or something. It's never very, very bad. So certainly embedded people are really happy if their code works and nothing else, right? That's perfectly fine already. That's more than expected, right? So yeah, right.
So moving to the LRA might get you a performance difference of 2%.
There might be a difference, yes. It generates very different code in the end, typically. Well, not very different. Sorry. It's not very different in the end. It will look like your code before reload or LRA or whatever, but with hard registers instead of pseudo, right? So mostly keeps the code structure the same otherwise, but with hard registers. Yeah.
Do you have benchmarks that
Well, I did benchmark. Certainly when we converted R6000 power, we benchmarked that with spec and everything. Yeah. And we did the actual conversion. We did the actual conversion at the point in time where the benchmarks showed an increase in performance, not a decrease in performance.
We saw. Can I just check? I think
Yeah.
it was off.
Testing, that's better. Okay. So we did see improvements. It
Right.
generally does give better code. We did see some degradations.
Yeah.
Some of those were, like I had mentioned earlier, some of the features that LRA didn't implement, that Vlad didn't implement initially, that
Right.
were in Reload, like rematerialization and some
Yeah,
of these
yeah,
things.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so we went back to him. Some of those weren't necessarily correctness issues, and he re-implemented some of those in LRA. I think
Right.
that helped.
Yeah.
It's not just, I will say though, it's from what we learned on changing power over to it. It wasn't just switching the bit flip to LRA in power.
Yeah.
As we found when we ported power, Reload fixes up a lot of bad constraint usage in your patterns.
Oh yes. Yes. Yes.
LRA is much more pedantic, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Making sure that your patterns have correct constraints in your
Right,
patterns.
right.
We noticed as we were porting, it was breaking here and there, and we realized when we look at the pattern, it's not actually an LRA problem.
Right.
That's our back end pattern problem.
Right.
So
But-
depending on how your patterns are written, you may end up.
Yeah,
hitting
but
some of those.
long ago, like 7 years ago, I think this was done, right? Something like that. 6, 7 years ago. There actually were some missing features in LRA, right? Yeah. Some stuff that just wasn't implemented yet. But nowadays it is. It should be just fine.
I think with all the ports that have been converted, we found probably the vast majority or all of the
Right.
missing features that Reload
Right.
had and that we needed that LRA didn't. So.
Right. So one thing that LRA, that getting rid of old reload allows to do, there's actually a comment in the source code that says that will allow to do that. Wow. In the combined pass, instruction combiner, it says that old reload, right? The reload pass requires us to allow subregs of memory. Yes, and so now we can get rid of that. Subregs in GCC, the subreg RTL thingy, is already allowed for 6 different actually different things. Of course it's a subreg, right? It's part of a register. It allows you to look at part of a register, but it's also allowed for what nowadays, since last year or something, is called the bitcast in C++. Just interpreting the datum as a bit pattern and then using that same bit pattern as some other type, right? Which is a useful thing, but why is that also called subreg? That makes no sense, but yeah. But apparently you can also take a subreg of memory to just do a shorter access, I guess. Yeah.
Some of the other changes, I know that Reload, we had to turn off for Reload
Right.
in the register allocator.
Right.
The new register allocator, some of the changes that I had made, allows 2 pseudos that are live simultaneously to be allocated
Right,
to the
right.
same hard register, if you can tell
Yeah,
that they have the
yeah.
same value. Reload has some assumptions that doesn't happen. And
Yeah.
if one dies, then it can reuse the hard register. But it's like, no, in our LRA, we allow the other one to continue to live. And so we
Yeah.
ended up having to disable that optimization
But
if reload was on. So hopefully your patch removes that little if statement to disable that.
maybe it probably doesn't.
But
But
there is a if
it will
reload.
allow us to delete it. Yes,
There is an
yeah.
if reload blah. Now I
Right,
assume you're
right.
nuking that.
Right. My pet series, it deletes all kinds of stuff, but not everything. can be deleted now. No, but lots of it. So a large part of the patch in lines is changing documentation. Documentation talks about reload quite a lot. And now it doesn't anymore. Yay! Oh, we still have a reload. That's why I say old reload.
Well, there's reload files and pass and reload the concept.
The dump
We still have that.
the dump files for LRA are called .reload. So we still have a reload. Yeah.
You didn't talk yet about the ports that have not been ported
Oh, right.
and what we're doing with those.
Right. Some parts have not been updated. Right. And what we do with those ports in the end, well, some of those ports won't. Some of those will magically just work, right? My patch series hard changes everything to always use LRA, just because the source code has like an if statement, right? If use LRA, then use LRA, else use reload. That's what it was. And now it just says use LRA, right? So some ports that have not been tested with LRA will now get LRA and just work. So happy. And some will not work. I know
Some will not build.
some will not build at all. There are some backends, and I will not name names, but I can if you want to, that actually use internals of old reload. In their back end, they will not build because the old reload, the source code isn't there anymore. The header file is removed, so their backend won't build, right? So under the rules of GCC, blah, 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 I could just delete it, but we will delete it somewhere in, what is next GCC, 17, right? Next one, not, No, somewhere in 16 release series.
We're in the 16 release right now.
Right.
Yeah, but we won't remove
Right.
it to make this side of the
Right, exactly. Somewhere in the 16 release series time frame, we will simply delete old ports that do not build at all, right? But by then have not actually built for maybe a year, so we can just delete them, which is a pity. That some of those that do not work, at least. I don't know if they won't build, but they won't work. Some of those are really interesting old architectures that we all have nostalgic feelings for, right? But it's just that. It's not nostalgic feelings. There has not been any new hardware for those architectures in like, I don't know, 20 years? Yeah?
I mean, what about the Sega Dreamcast?
What does that use?
The Dreamcast was presented a couple of times at FOSDEM.
Oh, it uses Super 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super 8 does work. It does work with LRA. I made sure it does, yes. but not for Dreamcast, but yeah.
The ones that, though, when we come next year, you pull it, I'm assuming, hopefully pushing this soon. Mm-hmm. So by the end of stage 1, for 16, it will be gone. Anything that doesn't work means it's unmaintained.
Right,
And
right.
unmaintained ports are eventually removed.
Eventually, yeah. And I talked to release managers already. This cold one, right? Like everyone agrees that we will delete them, but we won't be in a hurry to delete old stuff. So why would we be in a hurry? It's just that bits, right? So that
It's usually until the last moment that people all of a sudden who really want to keep it will pop up.
I know.
I fixed it and it's working now.
Yeah.
Whereas before it's like, oh, they're just pushing it, kicking down the can, then I'll wait to.
Right. Like all those ports that don't work with LRA currently, probably when I finally actually just changed trunk to only work for LRA. Maybe a week later, a month later, magically those ports will finally be fixed, which will be good, which will be nice. Yeah.
For some of them, that will be the case.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
I can't wait to see all the Bugzilla bugs that are showing up for this commit caused this problem, this commit, with all your names on it, because that's your commit.
Yeah. For example, one backend I don't feel bad of naming by name, right? Spark will not work out of the box when switched to LRA. It won't. I know for a fact that it won't. So yeah, but I'm sure that it will be fixed pretty soon. It's the problems aren't huge, so yeah. And it does build, I think, yeah, but it doesn't work. Oh yeah, exactly. It does build, but it doesn't finish Bootstrap. It doesn't finish cross-compilation even. It cannot build its own libgcc, right? Yeah, it gets an ICE when in the backend when trying to build libgcc, which is interesting. They could have that problem without being forced to use LRA, right? It's an ICE. Of course, it could have the problem anyway. Yeah, it's internal compiler problem. Yeah.
It depends if it's a bug or a missing feature. If it's a bug, it could be just fixed. And if it's a missing
Yeah,
feature,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
it could be potentially big work.
Yeah. Let's use the clock. It's good. So I'm halfway. Okay. Where was I? Okay. Okay. Old reload. It did. Well, like I said, it was huge because it tries to do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things all at once. And some of those things we still want done and aren't actually done by LRA. So some of those things, for PowerPC at least, we actually do in our backend now. Some of those optimizations, tiny micro optimization things. But some of it will stay missing for other ports that try to use LRA. So you can have a small degradation in performance if you try to move over. But it is the future. You will have to move over eventually. It is the future. So yeah.
It's the short-term future.
Very short term. I wanted to do the actual conversion here. So we just press enter, just at the stage, right? Now it's done, right? Yeah. But I didn't manage to make my patch series work. And I wanted to do it in the hotel tonight. But my presentation is today, it's not the third day. So I'm not good at planning. Okay, yeah. But it will be done very, 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 very soon, yes. So, where was I? Old reload. Oh, it does many, many, many things. Sure.
It did bad things too.
Very bad things. And
It would spill hard registers to
Right,
different
right.
hard registers, which is
right.
it would spill hard registers to other
Yeah.
hard registers.
Well, it doesn't.
Which could be illegal.
Yeah.
A pattern or something
Yeah.
requires a physical register. Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would spill hard registers
Yeah. Which
to
is
something
what it's
else,
supposed to
and
do.
if your pattern or instruction required that one, and you get a different one, that's can be illegal.
Yeah. Most of the pass doesn't actually change the RTL stream at all. It just has some to-the-side data structures where it says what it wants to modify later. So extra indirection. And as we all know, indirection is the cause of all bugs, right? Well, some people say indirection is the computer science way to solve all problems, but it's actually causing most problems. Indirection is what causes most problems. And I'll stay with it whatever you tell me. Yeah. It's holy ground, right? Yeah. But all that extra indirection just makes the path more complex, harder to work with, harder to debug everything. And LRA actually changes everything. Well, not in place, in time, right? The moment it decides to change some pseudo to some hard register, it makes that change to your code, period, to the RTL. It changes everything immediately, which makes it a lot, not even easier, but more feasible to debug. You can actually debug LRA, which is wow. So, okay, yeah, back to my story. So, PowerPC got changed, which is like the second port, right? And then I decided I really wanted to completely eradicate reload, right? Old reload, it needed to go, right? But that was 7 years ago, and now I finally get to do it. Yeah, like last year, I really wanted to do it, but then the release managers decided that there's too many things that get broken. Let's give people an extra year. Well, okay.
We've been doing that more than a year.
Huh?
We've been doing that for more than a year.
I
think it's
I know.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
But
there was
now,
always pushback.
but now it will actually be done. We're getting rid of old reload. Finally. Yay. Yeah. And it will be such a shame to see various ports go. Some ports will actually completely be removed. If no one is maintaining it, if no one is making the effort of making it work with LRA, then it will be removed. Hey.
Just a question about the process. Did you reach out over the past year to the last persons who had been touching those targets?
There were some young people, I don't know, maybe GSOC students, or maybe just new contributors, whatever, who actually tried to get all ports that were still using old reload converted over, and a lot of them were converted over, but those are mostly embedded, semi-embedded, whatever port, which were really easy to convert over. You just flip the switch and you test if it works, and most of the time it does work, and then you've done a port, right? Yeah. And if it doesn't work, you gotta fix something. Yeah.
Does anyone know from the top of their head which version the default was changed?
The default for the LRAP target macro, whatever. I should know what version. Like about 2 years ago, I did it, so I do know.
Oh, yeah, that's a long time ago. Okay.
Yeah, it should be plenty of time. But that changes the target macro only, the default, and lots of architectures manually override that to say like, no, we're antisocial.
I just checked. There's still 12 of them.
Right. Yeah.
The default really was only for new architectures being added, and it was required that any new architectures that were added must use reload. That's why you would change that. LRA. Yes. Sorry. We're not going backwards again. Have to use LRA. And you had gone through then all the other ports that were using reload. You didn't want to break them, and
but for new ports, it's so much easier actually to use LRA. LRA is much easier to work with. Really, you can actually debug it. You can. I've done it. You can debug it. And I have written new ports over the last couple of years. Well, many years. And LOA is a joy to work with. It just works. It's nice. And old reloads is old.
Maybe not a joy, but it's much easier than reload.
Well, what I find a joy. So maybe pain is involved, right? But yeah. Right. LOA is nice to work with. It's nice. Yeah. It's great code. Of course, LOA is pretty tightly coupled with IRA, and IRA is also register allocator is also really nice to work with. So yeah. So some targets will be broken and will have to be removed over time, but well, that's kind of a final warning, right? So your stuff doesn't build at all. That's like a final warning. Yeah.
My guess is some people don't test it until the official 16 release will come out.
Right.
When they've been, it's been 6 months. If you push it soon now till then, in April, that will notice.
So in reality, the final warning was last code run. That was the final warning. Because then we decided that we will do the switch in the 16 cycle. Yeah. And that was announced more broadly than our usual announcements. Yeah. And that's the reason why some people came up and fixed some of
and actually did some fixes. Yes.
that we're building. So that is now the result, and now we have to execute that warning simply.
And there was I talked about it on IRC quite a bit. Hashtag GCC whatever thingy. It's not hashtag. It's has mark whatever. Yeah. Double cross GCC. Yeah. It's okay. It's not called hashtag. Hashtag is what, well, they changed their own name, what X nowadays calls it, right? Yeah, and X is stupid. X uses a logo that has exactly the same font as X Windows. Yeah,
I always get the creeps.
Yeah, that is nasty. Yeah. Anyway. We got really sidetracked now, right? Well, I did, yeah. Okay. So old reload will be gone, and now we can make we can get rid of more code in other parsers. So like combine. Like I said, there's some comment in there that says old reload, it doesn't say old, but whatever. It allows subregs of memory, which it does. And we won't allow that anymore. So I can probably put it in RTL.h in some check macro, right? Like subreg of memory, ice, yes.
But you're not deleting, you will, the reload.cc will be gone. Yes. But you are saving some of the stuff from in the files because there was non-reload stuff in those files.
We have Git, we have backups of
everything. No. There are routines in reload.cc that we use that we still will need to use.
Yes.
So your patch isn't just delete the file and fix up the other things.
That is the hard part why I cannot easily remove reload. The hard part of my patch series, whatever, is it's moving over 1,000 lines, maybe 2,000 lines of reload. So from reload.cc and reload1.cc and reload.h to other files. And originally I made new order files for it, but that's silly. And I now actually move it to existing files. So mostly to RTL.h, and I don't know. Some things actually fit better in other places for the file checked if in those or the process, whatever. So there's lots of code all over the place that is changed. But mostly that stuff should not have been in reload.c.cc, whatever, at all anyway. So it's a cleanup. Let's sell it like it is just a cleanup. I'm not actually breaking stuff, I'm cleaning it up, right? Yeah. It sounds better. Yeah. It might be good actually, but it certainly sounds better. Yeah. So those all, there were lots of routines in reload.c.cc, whatever, that are used in other places in the compiler. So of course those were made. And there were one or two things that Ruben made that are really big, that Ruben made, which made sense in reload, that analyzed some stuff, whatever. But they didn't make, and they make absolutely no sense, but I don't delete them because this patch series just reordering stuff, right? Changing stuff to different files. But what it does makes no sense at all. It's easier done with a single if statement that just says if 0, right? Basically, or if 1 in some cases. Yeah, but I'm not making those changes. Other people can have that fun. Yeah.
What are those things that we need? It's things you said they don't make sense.
Right. Like
what?
It's analyzing some stuff to see if changing some part of the data structure changes the whole struct or whatever.
And it's not dead code after your patch?
It's not completely dead code, no.
So someone else or some other pass is using it?
Yes, yeah. But not for any good as far as I can know. So maybe it actually does improve performance somewhat for some architecture, but then it's 0.0000001%. Yeah. So it's noise. Yeah. And it's actually a lot of code, like over 1,000 lines of code, and it's not doing anything useful as far as I can tell. So yeah, should just be deleted, but yeah. But I'm not deleting anything in this series. In principle.
Well, you're deleting reload.cc.
Yeah.
And reload.h.
Right, sure, of course. In principle, but not actually. The compiler after those patch series, will be the compiler will not be binary identical, but the generated code by the compiler will be binary identical to what we had before. In principle, probably not, but yeah. So I'm really just deleting old reload. I'm not changing anything. Yay. That it doesn't sound good. Like I'm a compiler developer and I spent like over 6 years not actually changing anything. Right? That doesn't sound so good. Yeah.
Well, simpler and you get the same result is better.
Yeah. But there's no improved benchmarks to write home about. Yeah. That's true. I could spend some extra time making a new benchmark. Yeah.
Benchmark counting lines of code.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Seger, you claimed that you couldn't fix bugs in reload.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. I did one on the 9th of July 2001.
Oh, wow.
It only showed up on alphas, and that's why I got to do it, because I had one.
Yeah.
I can't remember, it's too long ago, I can't remember how hard it was, but I discussed it with both Jörn Renneke and Alexander Oliva.
Yeah.
So I needed some help, but it was still doable at that time.
Right.
That makes you the resident expert now.
Right.
Just in time. The last person to touch it is the owner.
Yeah. I forgot the name. Z series guy. Uli, yeah.
He knows everything.
Yeah, right. I worked with him like 20 years ago when I did cell stuff. But he was in the same laboratory in Germany. Yeah. And he knows everything. And he was the expert on using reload. But in this case, being the expert at using old reload means you're the only person in the world who knows how to actually use it. So yeah, we needed to get rid of old
He
reload.
explicitly said, though, he was not a reload expert.
Right, I know, but he is, yeah.
Because he didn't want to be known as the...
Right. But stating that kind of thing makes you known as the expert on it, so that backfires, yeah. Right, so after we delete old reload, what will be the oldest pass still found in GCC? What is the next victim? I know what for me the next victim will be. CSE. CSE
Combine
needs...
probably is the next.
No. Combine is fine. Combine will remain. Combine is mine.
We are talking about oldest things, not fine or bad things.
No. I did say what will be the next thing to go, right? Combine will not go. Combine will remain.
Well, you kind of said that, but then also what the oldest pass was.
Right, yeah. CSE has some really big problems. So pretty much, well, CSE is all of the compiler construction textbooks, whatever, have pseudocode for CSE and have exercises to implement that kind of thing, right? It should be easy to just remake a CSE thing. Someone can easily write a new, more modern CSE thing that doesn't do 20 million different things at the same time.
And you're talking about the RTL CSE.
RTL CSE, sure.
Because we have...
Yeah, there's a Gimple thingy as well, I know.
Gimple, there's
Yeah.
Pre, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that.
And at RTL, there are 3 different CSE parsers. There's CSE.c. There's also called, there's GCSE, which is actually partial redundancy elimination. And it's called global CSE for some reason. Well, you use the same code structure to do it, and that's why it's put in the same pass, but it's not actually the same thing. And there's a post-CSE, post-GCSE, I think it's called, pass in GCC, which actually does CSE. It's called post-CSE, but it does CSE. Now, it's like a...
It was forward prop though, the next reload. It keeps glomming on new features and additions that are not related to forward propagation on some of those things.
Well, yeah, forward prop is doing all kinds of extra stuff. But
just within the last week or so, I saw Andrew trying to add more stuff, and Richie was no.
And forward prop is only exists as a separate pass because they themselves, whoever it are, who tried to write whatever, couldn't manage to put it into Combine. Combine is already so complicated, so top-heavy, it's hard to modify its structure.
It's no free software. It's no free software. It's hard to modify.
Yeah. Right.
But we don't have access to the most preferred form of modification anymore.
Right.
Resources.
Right. So my vote is for CSE. Yeah, it should be the next thing to go. Yeah. But there are other parsers that are really old.
Thank you for volunteering. Didn't everybody hear that?
I sort of did volunteer, yes. Already, years ago already, yeah. Yeah, so I started, it's about the time that we switched R6000 over to LOA, right? I started completely getting rid of old reload about the same time, so it's like a little over 6 years now, I guess, yeah. It really took long to get it done, but it will be done now. And unfortunately, because I am lazy, I didn't get it done in time for the talk, but yeah. It will be done about this week, sort of like that. It's not a promise, but yeah. It will be done this week, maybe next week. I don't know, yeah.
In October.
Yeah. If you look at the source tree in October, it will be gone. Yeah.
We're going to hold him to it.
Yeah. In October, you can hold me to it. What is it? 31st of October, right?
Yes. So you mean the last day of October?
Right.
Yeah.
31st, yeah. Then it certainly will, at 12 p.m., right? then it certainly will be gone. I promise it will be gone by then, yeah. So I guess that's the whole story about removing old reload. Yeah.
When is the party after it's gone? Or where is it being held? Just everywhere?
Yeah, there will be a party at my desk, of course, but I don't have a desk. I just sit on the sofa all day anyway. Yeah, there will be a party there. I'm gonna drink. Yeah, I will take a day off even. Wow. Yeah. To not do any useful work that day, but I will be on the GCC IRC channel at least. Yeah.
When everyone starts to complain, hey, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
What happened to my port?
Right. Ooh. I'll make some macros to make some emoticon thingies like, yay! My port is broken, yay! Yeah, that would be good. I'm very sorry to anyone whose backend this will break, but
No,
I'm
you're
not actually sorry.
You're not.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry if it causes problems for anyone, yeah. But it has to happen. It's necessary pain, whatever, growing pains, right? Yeah. So hopefully GCC will become better by always having LOA instead of old reload. That's the idea. Yeah.
I have a small question.
Sure.
Like reload contains, like you might have touched on it, but reload contains like random utilities.
I can't hear you. Please pick up.
You can't hear me?
No, not at all.
What about now? No? So reload contains like random utilities, right? That
Yeah.
not necessarily are related or used in other places. Are you moving all of those around?
No, I copy those over to other files.
Yeah.
So more appropriate files. Some of it to rtl.c.
Yeah.
There is no rtl.c. rtl.h,
Yeah.
right?
RTL anal.
Yeah, RTL.
Analysis.
No, right. It's not called that for analysis. No. Yeah. But to some other files as well. There are some. I can look it up actually. I do have time to look, right? Oh, I don't have internet here anyway.
You have
Yeah.
to, now it's notes.
Yeah.
On the top of the hour.
Yeah. Some of it belongs in some existing source file because those functions are used from existing functions that seriously do belong to that part, right? So now all of the utility stuff they use also move to that part, and that's all there is to it. Yeah, I'm not actually deleting any code. Yeah, well, except reload itself. Yeah. And it's very complicated because lots of stuff was in old reload in the source file with tentacles everywhere, right? It's completely intertwined, whatever. It was a big mess, so I needed to untangle stuff. Yeah. But that's done now. Yeah. And it sounds harder than it is. It's just
not done until it's pushed.
Yeah. That's true. But it's it's mostly done in my own Git clone, right? But it's very nasty patch series still. I need to rebase it a bit still. So to refactor the series, as kids say these days, refactor, which doesn't mean, has nothing to do with factoring at all. Redo the series, basically. Yeah. Oh, you don't have a question?
Oh, no,
sure. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have a question? No? Go. Thank you.